time, hasn't it? I've been wanting to come and catch up with you all for quite a while now. Things have been crazy, as I feel like I'm always saying that. I cannot get this straight. I apologise. It's raining here today. It's been raining all day, so it's a bit miserable. I have a light above me, as you can probably see, so it's casting a bit of shadow, which I've tried to avoid, but the batteries on the stand thing that my son's lent me, it's corroded because it's been so damp here for so long. So even though there were no batteries in there, the points are still corroded, unfortunately, so I can't put those lights on anymore. So, I wanted to catch up, show you what I've been doing. I haven't been doing a lot of stitching because I've just had so much going on. Those of you who have been following Willow's progress, and those who don't know, I'll explain a little bit more. My Great Dane was booked in to have to be spayed, to be desexed, not last Monday, the Monday before. I'd been in contact with the facility a couple of times. I asked for worst case scenario, what it would cost. They gave me a quote. We only spoke about the spay, nothing else was ever mentioned. When we got there Monday morning, they told me that they don't do the spay on the large dogs unless they do a gastropexy as well. I have studied gastropexies quite a bit because it seems to be an issue with Danes, and the only reason I opted originally not to have it done was because it was going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars that I don't have. But they offered it at a really good price, so the quote ended up blowing out to 4 times more than what they had originally said. So they did the desexing. They did what I would call a complete hysterectomy. They removed both her ovaries and her uterus, which I didn't expect. For some reason I thought they'd just tie off the fallopian tubes. I didn't realise they would remove everything. They also did the gastropexy, which is stitching the stomach to the wall of the gut cavity to try and stop the chance of it twisting. So it was quite a major surgery, and the incision she had was 14 inches long, so it was a huge incision. She ended up with a tattoo in her ear, which indicates she's been desexed, so if for any reason she gets picked up by the ranger and ends up in the pound, they can see from her ear that she's been desexed. Otherwise, they do blood tests, and then when you go to collect them, you get charged for the tests and whatnot. So we had that done. Her recovery didn't go very smoothly. She had some complications. She ended up with an infection in her knee. So last Thursday we were back, and by this stage the quote had blown out to 6 times what I was originally quoted. So I've been incredibly stressed trying to raise the money to pay for this bill. When we went back Thursday, they gave her a injection equivalent to morphine, quite a large one, which zonked her out for the next 12 hours, 24 hours. But almost instantly she started walking on the leg. They also gave her antibiotics. That reminds me, I've got to give her antibiotics. They gave her antibiotics, and today, so a week later, she's walking on it. There's barely, you wouldn't even know she had the limp unless you knew, like you really got to look for it. She's doing really well. She's been incredibly cheeky. my daughter and son-in-law did a video chat last night, and she was showing off for them and chatting to them. She had us in stitches. It was so funny. So she's obviously feeling much better. So I want to thank you all for all your support around that. I also want to say hello to Kathleen. Kathleen, thank you so much for your emails. I appreciate them so, so much. I apologise I haven't emailed you back yet. I will. I've just been flat chat. Flat chat. This little munchkin has kept me on my toes. For the first week I had to hand feed her. I had to lift her up to toilet her. I had to feed her water, give her water from my hand. It's the only way she would take it for the first week. I didn't sleep for the first 5 days. I just sat up and watched her all night because I was so concerned about how she was not recovering well. So she's just had all my attention, and now that she's feeling better, she's hungry, and she's got speech buttons, and she's just constant. I shouldn't say it too loud because she'll go and do it. Constantly pressing the hungry, 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 hungry. My daughter and son-in-law actually Ubered some more kibble to her last night because she was starving and we ran out. So yeah, there's that. But she's doing really well now, so thank you all so, so, so much. If you've been following my D-Stash page on Instagram, I've also been going through a lot of stuff. I didn't realise how much stuff I actually have here. So I've been going through, I've started in the first room. I've got 2 rooms and a big storage area full of stuff I've collected, haven't looked at for about 15 years at least. So I started going through the first room, finding some really good stuff, trying to clear it all out. If you see anything over there that's not got a sold or a comment on it, and you really want it, let me know. I will negotiate. I just really want to get stuff out of here, but at the same time I'm trying to raise money to pay this vet bill. So I have put together it started off as a vintage tin. I've been searching for months for a pretty vintage tin that I could put some pretty vintage stuff in. I did find a few. My cousin has some beautiful ones in her shop, but they were either too big for what I wanted, like quite big, or out of my price range. But I finally found one, so I want to show you what it is. And as I've been going through all this stuff to de-stash, I'm finding more and more things to put in it. So it started off as this tin. I've now got a basket beside me as well that I have added to this. So it is listed. There's a video up that I did yesterday on Instagram. I'm going to have to move my coffee. But I have added more to it since then. So let's have a look. I'll move this out of the way too. My little pouch there. So beautiful vintage German sweet tin. I did find one online. It is this, the red is felt. It's absolutely gorgeous. The lid's pressed tin, and it is from the 20s. So it's 100 years old, this little tin. I absolutely love it, and I desperately want to keep it, but I will be moving in 18 months, 2 years, so I can't keep everything, you know, I need to de-stash. So this is going to go on, this is going to go to someone else, and let's have a look what's in it so far. Put some tissue paper in there. So I've got a piece of pink cotton. Most of these are fat quarters. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller. Got this beautiful, you hear that noise? Isn't that interesting? I don't know what it is. Maybe a phone. I can smell cleaning products too, really strong. That's an interesting sound. Anyway, this is like a cotton voile, so it's like a sheer fabric, vintage, beautiful. This is another vintage cotton voile. See if I can show you how sheer it is. It's a bit hard to show on the monitor, isn't it? So another vintage cotton voile. I am fairly sure this is linen. It's not a fat quarter because it's only 84 or 88 centimetres wide from selvage to selvage, but I have cut it 50 centimetres, so beautiful vintage, and I believe this is from the 20s as well. This is a piece of Sanderson, so it is linen. It's not a fat quarter, but there's a piece of vintage linen Sanderson. Then I've got these tea-stained cotton medallions. I left these bits on here, you know, so you can use it like that, or you can trim them off and just have the flower, whatever you want. And then we've got, these are like a pigeon pair. So I've got those two as well. So I tea dyed those. Got this little vintage crocheted medallion, cotton medallion. A little vintage reclaimed crochet pansy. A couple of vintage Suffolk puffs. Oops, we're falling over. Sorry, guys. Oh, don't fall, you rotter. Oh, man alive, you don't want to see my front door. Come on. It's leaning against my leg now. I just can't get it to stand up. Okay, this is a little hand-painted lace, and any of you who are familiar with Newcastle in the 90s, a lovely lady named Gloria McKinnon owned a shop in Hamilton in Beaumont Street. It was beautiful. It had marble entry and marble columns, and it was just full of the most beautiful fabrics and laces, and it was like a fairy tale, really. But this is one of the, this came from Gloria's shop. I knew what it was called yesterday. Like, it's completely gone from my mind now. Anne's Glory Box, it was called. Anne's Glory Box. So that's from there. I've got, what's on top here? A pair of reproduction scissors are included. A unicorn rainbow colour. They've got a little stopper on the end so you don't stab yourself. I've added a scissor keep to it that I've made, a knitted, beaded, it's got a little weight in it, so a little scissor keep, and I've just attached this, you know, you probably don't want that to stay there, but I put it there so it doesn't get lost. Little zipper pull, so that's included. I've included this necklace that I made from reclaimed linen, and it's finished off with Swarovski crystals. On the back there's some lovely tilde, so you can wear it either way. Some tilde, beautiful fabric. And then there's a larger, I've done a crocheted, oh, crikey Moses, like a chain, and there's a little, oh, sorry, I'm trying really hard not to swear. Another Swarovski crystal on the end here as the closure thing up there. Okay, I've got a piece of this twill tape included that you can use in your projects. I thought this was really cool. I don't have the vintage, the laundry tags, the French laundry tags, but I do have some of this. So I thought I'd include some of that you can stitch onto something. I thought that was pretty cool. A packet of buttons. There's some vintage mother of pearl in there, and there's a linen one. Some of these aren't vintage, you know, they're from 80s and 90s, but they sort of go with the other stuff in here. I did try to colour coordinate it in the beginning, but it hasn't turned out that way as I've kept adding things. Little crocheted medallion that someone has done. I'd never seen this tape before, so I thought that was very cool. So some of you who have bought from me recently would have received one of these as a little gift. I'm nearly out of those now. Another reclaimed crochet medallion. Slightly pinkish, that. Don't know if you can see it compared to the others. Another reclaimed crocheted medallion. And another one. So they're in there, don't you fall again, you rotter. Oh man. Okay. Come on, you darn thing. Please stay. Okay, then I've got this. I found this one the other day when I was going through the stuff in the room. Obviously some kind of vintage medallion. From the style, I'd dare to say it could potentially be 50s or 60s, this. So it does have a little bit of age marks on it, but I thought that was very cool. I've added one of those. These are just little, I've kept some of these myself because I thought they might be cool to stitch onto something. So there's some butterflies here, as you can see, butterflies. I think there's 5 butterflies in total. And then these are just little, there's another butterfly. These are just little embroidered flowers on some like chiffon. But I thought that you might have been able to stitch those into something as well. They're too pretty to just discard. I've got 2 packets of vintage needles from my collection. I get a bit precious with some of these things. I don't like to get rid of them because I don't have a lot of them, but I thought I'd include some of those. The same with these, some vintage hook and eyes, and I didn't realise until yesterday that there's 2 missing up here, so instead of having 12 there's only 10 on there. Look how much they were, 19 cents. So I reckon that could probably potentially be from the 80s, maybe a little bit earlier. Some vintage snaps, and again I'm a bit precious with these. This is the only full intact card that I have, I believe. And then this one. So I put those in. Then we've got this, I can't remember what this is called. I put that in a bag to protect it because it's a bit springy, it unravels a bit. Just this little piece of lace I came across, so I put that in. A piece of velvet ribbon and some rickrack. Yeah. Little bag of, these are like mother of pearl. They're beads, so they've got a hole through them. I thought they'd be not cool to stitch onto something. Maybe a pinch pot or a purse or a nest or something. Oops, come off it. This is a piece of hand crocheted trim. Thought that might be useful for something. I'm hesitant to pull it out because it takes me so long to try and fit it all back in again. Piece of vintage lace. Now this piece has some age marks on it, as you can see, but it's too good to not include a piece, I thought. Oh, I can smell disinfectant. This piece here, some of these laces are just beautiful. Most of them are cotton. I like the cotton ones. That one. And then this one's not cotton, but it's quite cute, so I thought I'd add a bit of it. Then we've got this large one. This is a bit chunky, this one, but it's quite still a nice lace, good quality one, cotton. It's like a bobbin lace needle, like a woven lace. And then this one's very pretty. This is one of my favourites. Another woven cotton lace. So I put some of that one in. Now, I got this out yesterday and didn't realise that it has a stain up here and it has some yellowing in here somewhere. So I'm going to take that one out, and later in the basket I've got another one to replace it, so I'll show you that as well. Then we've got this one. This is one that my uncle would have brought back from China. I ended up with a packet of these, so I thought I'd share one of those. This button, the light's not great, is it? So pink floral button. It's not vintage, obviously. I'm pretty sure I bought this maybe 9-10 years ago. There's a little shop in Newcastle in the mall. I can't remember what it was called, and they sold all these Japanese products that were really cool. So I actually turned this one into a brooch quite a while ago, so I thought that might be nice to either wear on your clothes or to add to one of your purses, or, you know, your clutches, the Kate and the Nest style sort of things, something like that. I've added, I think there's about 3 meters of this vintage sari silk. Now I've added this cream piece because it's quite versatile. It's definitely vintage. It has some age marks on it. But I use this, you can dye it, I also paint it, I do, you know, colour gradients, and it also works well with eco dyeing. So I thought I'd add some of that for you. We've got a brand new vintage Coats Mercer crochet cotton in ecru. I've included a piece of vintage braid trim. In here is some 6 vintage stranded cottons. And again, I'm a bit precious with my variegated, so they're Anchor, and there's some DMC as well. They're good quality cottons, some of my favourites, so I've added some of those. I've added a vintage cotton reel, and again, I'm very precious with these. Most of these were my grandmother's. So I'm moving it over to the side so it's not in the shadow there. So I've added one of those. This funny little, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's cotton or linen. It feels more like linen to me, but I don't know. It's machine embroidered around the edge there. That's the top. I had it upside down. I don't know if it was, maybe it's a coaster because it's not very big. This beautiful, delicate crocheted doily, hand crocheted, very pretty. Piece of lace. This is a wide piece, as you can see. It's actually elastic, but it's still good to add to your projects or use as a page in a needle book or something. a piece of reclaimed linen, cross-stitched linen. I've been using some of this myself. Piece of doctor's flannel, pure wool doctor's flannel, the needle books or something. And this is a piece of pure wool suiting to use in a needle book. Love this piece, this colour, beautiful. And then that's a napkin. I hope you can see that. I don't want to pull it out. It's got this beautiful needle woven corner there. So there's the, I'm going to have to pack all this up nice and neatly when this is finished. So that's what's in the tin. But as I, oh crikey Moses, as I promised originally when I first posted about this, I have continued to add to it. So I want you to get your money's worth. For goodness sake. Okay. Try and put these back a bit so they're not, so they don't get damaged, hey? I can't even remember how I had it all in. I need to put these in or we won't fit them. Where did I put the cotton? There we go. Laces. Bear with me guys. I'd prefer to try and do this now so it doesn't get damaged or lost. This one was over here. These ones sort of tuck up in here. Oh my goodness me. I have to have it leaning at an angle against the bench to get it so you can actually see, or it just goes upright and points in all sorts of weird directions that you can't actually see anything. Okay, buttons, brooch, tag. Let's put the necklace in, hey? Necklace. Get off there. What's the bet? I won't be able to fit it all back in like I had it. What have we got here? Medallions. Bit of tape. Let's turn it around so it faces the right way. That hand painted medallion. There we go. Tea-dyed ones. Then we've got to try and fit the fabrics in. There's the Sanderson. There's a piece of linen with the paisley, cotton voile, and the pink. So that's the tin, but we're not finished and the lid won't go on. There's more. I've added more to this. So I've also added a vintage Irish linen handkerchief, and I've been told these are from the 50s. A tassel. Lots of things you can do with that. What's up here? Oh, I've got to go through those. Okay, I've got a bag of Christmas themed hexagons that I've added. There's 42 I believe in here. I couple of years ago, and originally I was stitching these together and then stitching them to some wadding and turning them into little zippered pouches. So that's what I was doing with those, but I've been there, done that. I just want to get rid of some stuff, so I thought someone might be able to put those to good use. Also got, I've added this, a Duchess set, vintage linen, 3-piece Duchess set, pure linen. So you can stitch this, look at that, beautiful. So I've added that. Let's put it back in its bag so it doesn't get damaged. There we go. Oh man alive. One day I'm going to do these and this darn stand won't keep blowing over. I've also added, I forgot to show this yesterday, there's a few things I haven't shown yet. I've added a pack of vintage pure wool blanketing pieces. This on its own is worth $25. Obviously you can use this in your needle books, your purses, you know, your nest clutches, all sorts of things. So pure wool pack. I've also added a needle book kit. So that's, I think I originally had these listed for $65. So I've added that to this pack. I've also added this box. Now it says this is colour 3819 or 632. It's not. I have added 12 skeins of different colours, DMC threads, stranded cottons. So there's those as well. Let's put this back together. There's 12 in that box. We've also got, there's some little bits in here, I forgot about that. I've added a vintage zipper. Potentially, I think this was from the 70s, these. A zipper, a vintage bias binding. I love this stuff. This is a really good one. Well, I think it is. Don't say what it is. It's a can't remember what they call the fabric. That's an Australian made one. That's how old that is. Made in Australia for Australian Sewings Proprietary Limited. I've also added this funny little vintage, I didn't want to take it out of the bag, but it's really cool and I thought whoever buys this pack might like it. I believe these were from my uncles. I had a couple of them. So it's this little vintage key ring and it's got a rain cap, a shower cap thing in it, a rain to protect your hair when it rains, plastic. So I thought that was really cute. So I've added that. So I can get it back in the bag. I believe that's from the 70s. I thought that was really cool. I'll put it in backwards, you goose. Okay. I've added a pair of earrings I've made with crystals on them. Pair of earrings. Trying to get it to glint again. I saw a lovely glint pop out. So I've added a pair of earrings. And I mean, if you don't wear earrings, you could potentially pull this apart and use those rondelles to make something. Added those. Now I showed this yesterday and it had a funny little brass safety pin on the back. So I have added, this is a cross-stitched, like a mini bell pull, a little bell on the bottom, but I added a bar, proper bar to the back. So you can pin it on to whatever you'd like. Don't yell at people, please, they're down the road. You don't have to concern yourself, mate. So I've added that to the pack. I thought this would be lovely stitched onto a one of those Kate in the Nest inspired clutches. Imagine that. So I've added that. I wanted to add these. I should pin them into something. These gold look pins. I thought they'd look really cool pinned into a needle book or something. So there's 2 of those. The weather's getting a bit hairy out here. Okay, what else? I have replaced that hanky that had the stain on it with one of these. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Little hanky. And another one the same as the one that I had, but this one doesn't have any stains on it. So I've added that one. And a blue one. Embroidered hanky, vintage hanky. Right, now, how can I show you all this stuff? I need to move these things so I can show you what else is in here. So I'm just going to pop these back in the basket so we don't lose them. Okay, now, some more things I've added. A piece of this machine embroidered trim, and imagine stitching, embroidering some flowers in here. I thought that would be cool, so I've added a piece of that. I've added a beautiful vintage doily, needle woven. There's tape and then you do the needle weaving in between it, so that's, I've added that one. I've added this beautiful mint coloured damask napkin that you could use in your needle books or embroidery or background, or use it to make a clutch or something. So I've added that one. I've added this beautiful, I believe these are called bleach. It's damask, and these, apparently these flowers are hand painted. I love these. Look at that, lemon coloured. So I've added one of those for you. I've added a piece of this cotton with teacups on it, so you can cut them out and applique them. 2, 4, 6, 8 full teacups on there that you can cut around and applique onto something. So I've added that. I've added this piece of chiffon, that's the pieces that I showed you in the tin earlier. This edge isn't cut straight, but that's deliberate because I didn't want to cut through the flowers. But I thought you could use this as a page in a needle book, or you can, crikey Moses. Come on, you rotter. So, or you could cut around the embroidered flowers and applique them on something. So I've added a piece of that. Let's try and keep it nice and neat, hey? Where have I folded it? So that's included in this pack. Now I've got some reclaimed linen that I've added. This one. There's so much stuff here that you can play with and use in your projects. This one has a stain on it, but it's beautiful linen, and it's in. This piece is machine embroidered, the other pieces are hand embroidered, but beautiful piece of linen and this embroidery that I thought would be useful. So I've put a piece of that in. Now here's some linen damask. This poor tablecloth was threadbare in places, but it's beautiful fabric. Look at that. Those flowers, are they picking up in the light? It's a bit hard to see, isn't it? I've added a piece of that for you to play with. There's a bit more of that. There's no flowers or flash on that piece, but it's still a lovely piece of textile. This is the same tablecloth. It's got beautiful, can you see the flowers in that? And then it's got this needle woven section. I'm sorry I haven't cut more up here, but that was all deteriorated, all threadbare and torn, and so I've rescued that piece for you. I have kept some of this. I'm excited to use some of this actually. It's beautiful fabric. Here's another piece of that machine embroidered linen that I thought you might be able to play with. I've got a corner here. So I've added that. And then I've got this beautiful piece of hand embroidered linen. You've got a bit of crocheted edge there. There's quite a bit to work with. Added that one. And then this, added a piece of this, and I'll show you later what I've been using this stuff for. Again, this is reclaimed from another tablecloth. Some of these poor tablecloths are in a bad way. I've added this piece. This is cotton. This isn't linen, this one, but look at this. Oh, don't you fall again, you rotten bloody thing. Just stand up, for goodness sake. So I've added a piece of that one for you to play with, to add into your work. The thought of what these can be used for is quite exciting, I think. And then this, and you guys have got all the best pieces out of this. The pieces I've saved for myself aren't in a great shape. So some of this does have pinholes in it. There's one over here. And I thought the pieces I've got, I'd try and just darn them, patch them up a bit, because they're too pretty to not use. And someone's gone to all the trouble of hand stitching all that. Then I've got another piece of beautiful vintage fabric. This was a really funny shape, so I've neatened it up. It's very pretty cotton. It's heavier. I don't know what you'd call it. Very lovely fabric. And I thought that'd be nice. You could even thread paint that potentially. Cut pieces out, applique it. So I've added a piece of that. It's very pretty colours, that. And then this piece of fabric as well, vintage cotton. So I've added that. So there's quite a bit there, but I'm not finished yet. There's more. I think we're nearly at the end. So I've also added, and I did have this all in neat colours, but it's not now, these vintage DMC 2-ply pure wool. Stand up, you bloody thing. Oh man alive. Come off it. Stay. So I've added 24 of these for you to use in your projects. 3, 4. No willow, please. 3, 4. What else have we got? 5, 6, 7, 8. Get some colour order happening here. 9. What else have I got? Where can we go from here? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Where can I fit these? 23 and 24. So those alone are worth over $70. So they are beautiful. If you haven't used these before, they are so beautiful to work with. They're great for thread painting. They're actually crewel, C-R-E-W-E-L. Trying to find so I can show you how fine they are. And it's pure wool if you haven't used it before. Can you see that? Absolutely gorgeous. Made in France. Wow. So that's how old, these haven't been made in France for quite some time, I believe. I'm not, pure wool, pure virgin wool it says. And it's got the wool mark there. What does that say? Pure something wool, pure. I can't read it. So, beautiful, beautiful threads to work with. Now, I don't even know if you can still buy these. I have Googled them. They come up, and when you click on the stores to buy them, it says they're all sold out. So I've included those as well. So everything that I have shown you so far is in the pack that I'm selling. If you'd like to buy it, it is over on my Instagram page at Gladys and Maud Unearthed. It's currently listed for $149 for all of that. There is, I have been counting it up as I go, it has $643 worth of product in that pack, and I'm selling it for $149. When I keep finding things, I keep adding to it. I don't know how much more I will add to it because we need to be able to mail it. That is a massive package that we've got there. So postage will not be, postage is getting up there on that one. So that's the pack. That's the vintage. That all came about from that vintage German sweet tin. So there you go. I was going to show you a couple of things. So I've started working on a denim jacket. I'm going to stitch this panel to the back, I think. I've started to baste it on, but as I was basting it, it's sort of twisted a bit, so I've had to relocate it. You can see I've drawn a border around here. This is where I'm going to stitch, and then I'll trim it back. I'll probably have to stitch some stuff in here somehow to hold that down. I haven't worked that out yet. potentially should have used something like Fix to adhere it, but I don't have any. So I'm trying to do it all by hand. I've also got, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet because I want to decorate the jacket, obviously. But these pieces that I showed earlier, that I put some in the pack that I'm selling. Okay, these crocheted bits, I'm hemming these edges, and then the plan is to attach them to the cuff on the sleeves. So that's the plan for that. And I've got another piece of the, where did I put it? A smaller piece of the cross stitch that I'm going to attach to the front somewhere. And I've also got these, again, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I've pulled these fabrics to put some patches on it somehow. And again, I haven't worked out how to do it yet, but that's something I'm working on, my denim jacket. I will be selling this because it's too small for me. It's a size 18. I'm a bit bigger than an 18 at the moment, but I will be selling it. So if anyone's interested in buying this, just keep an eye out, and it will be going up for sale once it's done. So that's one thing I'm working on. The next thing I've been working on is, oh, you would have seen some of this before. The large vintage needle book, the kit that came from Beck at Sobe. So far I've attached the crocheted border to the vintage quilt, cutter quilt. This is a big one. So this one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep this. I haven't kept any of them yet. So I've hand stitched that on, stitched the crocheted edge on that I reclaimed from a doily. There you go, I had it upside down. I've lined it with a vintage napkin that I bought from my cousin. And this is a piece of lace that came off a vintage cot sheet. It's very delicate, this lace. It's all basted at the moment, basted all on so I can stitch it together I don't want it to move, so I can't show you. It will be pockets once it's put together, but because it's all stitched down at the moment, I haven't removed the stitches. I can't show you that. Now, I do have, there's some pieces, I don't have them out here, pieces inside that came with the kit that will be getting put in here. But I'm wanting to add a zippered pouch into it, I think. And I've started to make it from another of the vintage napkins from my cousin. And this is what I've done so far. So I had the birds attached around the other way, so they were sort of facing horizontal. And then I realized when we're using the needle book, it will potentially be facing this way, so I turned them around. I've hand stitched these pieces of fabrics. These are all from Beck's shop as well. There's some Liberty in there, Mompson, some speed sack, and this reclaimed embroidery from a doily. The birds, it's hard to see. I think I've gone too heavy with all the detail. So the birds are sitting on the cherry blossom branch here, and I extended the branch. I just stitched that, extended it. I've added this petite pan at the top, and I will be setting a zipper in up here. I've got a neon pink, I've got yellow, and I've got orange. I think I might even have a green but I think the neon pink zipper will potentially go in there. So that's my zippered pouch so far. I don't know if I want to, I'm going to do some needle weaving around here a bit. Where I've done the satin stitch around here to hold this down, I've used that 2-ply wool that I've got in that pack I'm selling. I think I want to keep some space here. I'm not sure yet, it just doesn't quite look right. I'm hoping once I fill this in and finish that border it will be more balanced. So that's where I'm up to on the needle book. I think this is going to hang out a bit, but that's okay. That's something else I'm working on. This is I bought this, someone actually commented, and I haven't heard back from her since, that lady had made this. I bought this from the Maker's Place. Friends of mine own an upcycle store. I bought this from there and I use it constantly. I assume from the style and the size of it, it was made to carry English paper piecing projects in, but whatever I'm stitching goes into this and I take it everywhere with me now. I didn't realise I would use it as much as I do. So I slide my projects into that pocket there. Any other bits and pieces I might need are in here, and then I fold it up and then roll this over, and that comes in my handbag. And if I ever have meetings, appointments, whatever, I pull that out and I start stitching. So that's one thing I'm working on. This is something I started years ago, and I put it out when I've been going through these or de-stashing things, and I'd like to finish this. This is something I started, might have been a guild project, I think. You can see I've done the tacking stitch around the outside here, and I've attached bits of ribbon, mini sequins, braid, vintage braid, and then in between I've started to do some stitches. So there's an oyster stitch here I've done on both sides. There's some feather stitch in here. There's layered stitches up in here. I think that's a cretin stitch, and it's layered with 3 different colours. But unfortunately I've started the stitch and finished. I don't know where these threads are, so I don't know how I'm going to match them. So that's going to be interesting. But potentially I fill all this in over to the border, this mattress, what's it called? I can't remember now. And it was designed to be oh, crikey Moses, this is driving me bananas. Yeah, I know, mate. It's a pain in the bum. So this was potentially going to be please stop yelling, there's no one there. A purse, pouch thingy. Can you please stop yelling? Shush. Willow, go and lay down, please. It's the neighbours that come here every day, they live here. Please stop yelling at them. So yes, this is, when it's finished, will be a pouch. You can see the shape here for the flap around here, and yeah, I can't remember, I'm pretty sure we were supposed to put a pocket inside it, some kind of project pouch. I started this potentially, I think it would be 18, 20 years ago. Quite some time. So I'd like to finish that. I've also started, here I've been sitting here the whole time thinking, I wish I'd brought my glasses out. They're sitting beside me, for goodness sake. Not clean. The rain's back. Right, now the next project I'm working on I've pulled all these fabrics earlier today that I don't even think I'll get to use. Pull them down off there so we can see. Oh, I'll show you this first. I might even sell this because I'm over it. I started this years ago. This was an Anne Woods project, I think. Remember the scrolls? This is what I started. I used an old piece of quilted batting that I had quilted on the gamel years ago. These were, I used to keep all the offcuts when we did clients' quilts if they didn't want them. Didn't want the offcuts, so I've got that there, the roll. I should take those pins out or they'll go rusty, won't they? I've got quite a long piece of roll here to work on. And can you hear that rain? I've started working on it. So you can see this piece of cross-stitched, reclaimed, oh goodness, there's some crap on here. Reclaimed cross-stitch in here on linen. There's another piece up here that's on cotton, that one. And then I've just done layers of fabric. There's silk in here, linen, more silk. And I've just done layers and layers and stitches and these funny little knots in here, textured knots, more linen, that bit's pinned in. So the idea is, if you haven't done one before, my hair's in there, is to just layer it up with textiles, fabrics, stitches, and just do this scroll. So I started that a few years back. I'm pretty sure that was the beginning of COVID, that project. Yeah, and I just got bored with it. I don't know why, but I did. Right, now back to what I'm working on. I did get, my children bought me a kit, another kit from Sobe, the vintage Japanese needle book. So I've started stitching this. This piece of silk that came, this piece here, had another piece of silk attached to the back side. So I pulled it all apart, deconstructed it. I attached this piece of silk to a piece of wadding. I've done all the running stitch, the camphor stitch on it. This is the texture, this is divine. It's rough, I suppose. So I've done that. I've added this piece of linen to one end. I've stitched it, you can see there. Then that piece of silk that was on the reverse of this, they both had holes in them. So there's actually, on this edge here, it's the way it was cut, there's a hole here. So I'm going to put a patch over that, I think. That's turned over, that's the bias edge, the selvage edge. So I've turned that over and tried to make a feature out of it on that silk. This was already stitched onto that silk, another piece of silk. So I reclaimed that cream piece and made a little feature out of that. Now this side is a bit untidy because this is going to fold over like that. I'll stitch that down. I haven't done this edge yet. Listen to that rain. I'm a bit worried about that there. And then it will go like that. So there's that one. I'm getting wet. That rain's fiddling in. Absolutely fiddling in. So then I've got, this came in the kit, the 2 years in it. I've still got these bits, these were in the kit. This bit, these are bits I reclaimed from the original, the cover bit. So when I tidied it up, these bits came off. So I've kept them to use them. These are another bit that came off there that I've kept. This came in the kit. There's quite a bit of this. Haven't exactly worked out. That's doubled over. Haven't exactly worked out how I'm going to use that bit yet. This came in the kit. Another piece of silk. Another piece of silk that came in the kit. Another piece of silk. I love this piece. There's daisies down there and irises up here. I've got to work out how to use that. And then, oh, this came in the kit, so this will potentially go on here, on the front there. This is the thread that came with it, and there was a ball of, it's in my other bag, where did I put it? Here we go, this came with it as well. So this is what I've been stitching with. So I did all the camphor stitching with. And then I've pulled, oh hang on, there's still more that came in the kit. A piece of beautiful Sue Spargo wool felt to put in it. The colour coordination is beautiful. Oh, you bloody thing. I'm seriously losing my patience with this today. Okay, back into here. And there's also some doctor's flannel that came with it to put in it. So we've got that. But then I've pulled, oh, there's another piece. There's little bits, I've kept all these little bits that were trimmed off. There might even be more in the box there. So then I've pulled a few things that I might put in it. I'm not sure yet. This doily, the colours are almost perfect for it. So yeah, not sure if I'll put this in yet, but I like that. It's a good colour match. And then I've got this one as well. So could potentially put this in as a page and then put, I don't know, a piece of this in. So when it opens up, you'll see, look at that. Oh, I'm not sure, because it's all Japanesey. This isn't Japanese, so I'm not sure if it will stick with the flow. The other thing I was thinking, on the doctor's flannel, I would like to do, potentially embroider a spray of, I don't know, cherry blossoms or some kind of Japanese flower with the wool that I've got, the 2-ply. I've got more of it, so I'm not going to use this, but this stuff, wouldn't that be divine? So that's the plan with that. I've also pulled this. I thought this would look good in it. Imagine that as a page. I don't know how I'm going to fit all these things in this little needle book, but so if that was done that way, and then when you opened it up, you'd see something like that. So there's that idea, and then what else have I pulled? Oh, I've got these linen, look at that, for a page. That's something else that could potentially work. And this could be added as a feature or a pocket even. And I've also pulled this linen. This is very pretty. So yeah, there's the other little bit that I was keeping. I don't know how I'm going to add it all. That could potentially be the patch on the edge. So that's the current thing I'm working on. I also pulled, goodness me, now I haven't checked to see if any of this would work yet. It just doesn't work, but I had this beautiful fabric from Nairi that I thought might work in it, but I'm not happy with that. Also pulled this linen, this Sanderson. It's very heavy, this one. It could potentially work. The colour isn't too bad, but I'm not entirely convinced. I also pulled this piece of Sanderson, but colours are all wrong. Also pulled this one. Not the right colour, but no, nowhere near the right colour, that one. And then I pulled this piece. Which could potentially work. It's blues, it's not great. But then I remembered that I had this piece as well. It's upside down, but I'm not convinced the colours work, to be honest. It's got that peach colour in it, but this colour, mushroom colour, just seems to not work with it. So there we go. That's what I'm doing. I have taken a break today from the sorting and the ironing and the pressing and the posting and all that stuff, because I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm so exhausted, it's not funny. My brain's fried. But this afternoon and this evening, I'm hoping to go through all the orders again. I did do them last week. I sent everyone out what they've got, but most of you wanted to hold off and see what else is posted, so I haven't gone through it for a week or so now. I have to go through that, let everyone know what they're up to, and see if anyone's ready to finalise, etc, etc. And of course, there's no pressure to finalise yet. You can wait as long as you want. I'm quite easy on that. Just trying to get all this stuff. I can't believe this. Everything's wet now. The bloody rain. I'll tell you what. I know I shouldn't be complaining about the rain, because a lot of places are so bloody dry at the moment and they're really struggling. They desperately need rain. And we've been in positions here before where it's been so dry and horrendous, you know. But it has been so wet now here for months. Everything's damp, everything's going mouldy. The dehumidifier inside can't keep up. It's crazy. Haven't been able, you would have noticed if you saw the videos I've been taking of Willow's progress with her recovery. You've probably noticed my lawn is overgrown and crazy. It's because it's so bloody wet. We don't get a chance to dry it out, so we can mow it. It's crazy. But anyway, I don't know what else I can talk about. I think I just wanted to come and catch up with you guys. It's been so long. It feels like it's been ages and ages and ages. I've got another project I really need to get working on. I got an affiliate, I don't know what you call it. They've sent me all their products that I have to record, and I'm getting very close to the end of the time limit and I haven't done them. So hopefully in the next week I just need to get that done, get it done and out of the way, and send that off to them. I can't share who it is yet. It's not until September. Once it's all launched and uploaded to their website, I'll let you know. but I have to spend some time to get that done. So I may disappear for a week, maybe. I really have to get that done. Actually forgot about it. So that kit that came about from that vintage sweet tin, as I said, over $600 worth of product in it now. If you're interested in buying that, it's listed in my Instagram account, Gladys and Maud Unearthed. $149 plus postage, and there's a lot of stuff there, guys. It's great value. I'm sure you'll use a lot of it. As I said, I need to get rid of stuff, and it would be great if I could get some money in to go towards these bloody vet bills. It's stressing me no end. So yeah, thank you. That shadow is driving me bananas. I forgot to tell you, one of the reasons you haven't seen me for a while, apart from the fact that I've been looking after Willow, my phone died. It just, I had it out. It was the day before, 2 days before Willow had to have her surgery. 3 days. It happened on the Friday, and she went in on Monday. So on the Friday, I picked it up, and the screen flickered a couple of times and went a greenish tinge. And then it flickered again, and then it went black. It went dead. There was nothing. There was nothing on the screen. I could still feel it. I could still feel it was interacting with me, touching it. I knew it was still on. That screen never came back. I think I cooked it, and it went flat later that night. I charged it, and it would not turn on again. It would not boot up. It would not work. So it was 1 week short of me having had it for 6 years. So that poor phone, certainly got my money's worth from that one. It was a very expensive phone at the time. It took me 3 years to pay it, but it lasted for 6 years, and I'm impressed. So now I've got an old phone of my son's. The back of it's all smashed. The speaker doesn't work, so you have to put it on loudspeaker to hear anything. If you don't put it on loudspeaker, you cannot hear what anyone's saying. The aerial inside it, I've taken it to Optus. The guys, there's two young people there, the store manager and one of the ladies, young people that was working there with him. They bent over backwards to try and help me get this phone working. They put new SIMs in it, they put an eSIM in it, they reset it, they tried so much. I was so grateful for what they did. Eventually they worked out that the antenna in the phone was broken, so it doesn't pick up like the cellular, what do you call it? Remember when we first started using mobile phones, and you'd be holding it up trying to get reception, and you know, you'd stand on one feet, stick your tongue out and put your, I don't know, you'd look like a dork trying to get the phone reception. Well, this is what this is like with this broken aerial. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a phone. It's I just can't afford a new one at the moment. I can't afford to go on a plan at the moment. So I don't know how long this phone will last me either. It's got quite a few issues. But there we go. It's taking this video for me. It's been doing what I need to be doing so far. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I'm going to go inside because I'm getting wet, guys. My back is wet. Yeah. Thank you all once again. And as I said earlier, a special shout out to Kathleen. I am thinking of you. I will email you, and I apologise sincerely for taking so long, and I appreciate you and your emails so very much. Thank you. Also want to give a shout out to Kristy. I've been thoroughly enjoying watching your photos of your trip in the UK. I'm living vicariously through you, and it looks amazing, and I hope you're having a wonderful time. Also want to give a shout out to Christine. Christine contacted me and asked if she could share something I'd made, and of course I'm very grateful that you asked, and it was really lovely to hear from you. I haven't watched your video yet. I will try and remember to put the links for Christine's video I'm talking about and her YouTube channel. I'll link Kristy's, and I'll link Kathleen's as well. I get a bit tardy, guys, I'm sorry. I upload the video and then I go looking and I forget, so I apologise sincerely for my tardiness and whatnot, but I will endeavour to try and get that done. So thank you all again so very, very much. Oh, and I was going to say, Christine's necklaces she made were bloody awesome. I was so impressed. They're absolutely gorgeous. So you have to see them. Yeah. I'm prattling again now, so I'm going to go. How many times did I say that? I do it every time. I just go on and on and on and on. But thank you again so very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your encouragement and your support. I appreciate it so very much. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you haven't had a look, pop over to my Instagram, the one main one I'm using at the moment. I've got a few, but go and have a look at Gladys and Maud Unearthed. That's my D-Stash page. I also have Gladys and Maud. I also have Willow the Great Dane. And there's others, but they're the primary ones at the moment. Yeah, go and check out my D-Stash page. You might see something there that you like. I try to keep adding most days. Some days I get so exhausted and overwhelmed I don't do anything. Don't think I've uploaded anything today. But go and have a look. You might see something there you like. And yeah, I'm gonna go. Thank you again. Thank you. And have a wonderful day. It's Thursday here, so we're getting close to the weekend. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys, again.